All right. So, hello everybody, and welcome to Sound Mind, Sound Body. This is my monthly Zoom workshop. It's a platform where I receive guests and where I also share about health and well-being in the electronic music industry, or also extended to the music industry or creative industries. And my name is Isabel No or Izzy Naud, and I've been working as a coach for the electronic music industry since 2021. So that's like 4 or 5 years now. And today my guest is Leda Curti. Leda is a certified energy leadership coach and founder of the Purple Spill approach. She supports high achievers who are navigating through the maze of personal and professional challenges so they can grow a unique form of self-leadership and authenticity. Through her work as a thinking partner, Leda supports professionals to understand how their energy, the way they show up in life and work, directly shapes creativity, resilience, and performance. Leda's mission is to guide individuals in finding their own solutions, designing the proper mindset, and creating sustainable changes in all areas of their life. Welcome, Leda.
Hi, Izzy.
How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me here in your amazing format that I really enjoy and love it. Thank you.
Yes, it's interesting because I'm currently watching some online summits, and the way they're doing it is like they have recordings of conversations with the speakers. So I was thinking, oh, maybe in the future we can do an online summit as well.
Right, exactly.
So yes, let's keep that one in mind. So I'm gonna start with a few questions, and we're gonna start with your background. So could you share a little bit about your journey? What led you to become an energy leadership coach and to create the Purple Spill approach?
Sure. So first off, we put together many words in this title: human sustainability, energy business, and so many topics here. And to explain a little bit who is connected today, you and I discussed about it, and we basically wanted to highlight that the real sustainability begins with people, and that the energy we bring to our work, to our art, our teams, shape our well-being and our success. So we go a little bit beyond the electronic music industry, generally speaking, to fast-paced creative settings anyway. So to answer your question, I got my energy leadership certification and later on came out with a purpose-built approach, mainly because of a very personal journey of navigating pressure, burnout, and really the search of my own authenticity. Um, I've always believed in the power of teamwork. I have 12 years of in corporate experience between the United States and Europe, and I championed teamwork and the co-creation of value, and that's the message I'm trying to convey and deliver as a coach now. But I also experienced toxic environments that left me, let's say, stressed and feeling undervalued. So I realized that the lack of the emotional intelligence, especially from the outside world, can really slowly drain your energy and disconnect you from who you are. So basically, I was talking about myself, what happened to me. Let's say today I support projects and within communities like AFAM, for example, and brilliant human beings really find their disco ball in a dark room. That's what I say all the time. As a thinking partner, I really guide you to see what you might not see for yourself, through the lens of energy leadership and self-awareness. So especially in high stress spaces like the electronic music industry, but other industry as well, where emotional resilience and self-leadership are essential. So I like to say one thing, that coaching is an educational process, is a sound check for your soul, and a way to recenter, refocus, move forward with clarity and intention. Now, the purple spiel approach, going back to that, really dives deep into self-discovery. So I created the 3 C's: connect, communicate, and create. So it's sort of alignment with your core values, who you are, honest self-communication, right, and intentional action. So it's really designed to, let's say, help move you through life with stay grounded, with grounded clarity, not just becoming someone new, but really returning to the most authentic version of yourself, let's say. So the purple spill is a sort of an invitation to spill into your true colors, right? To express yourself, reconnect, realign. And at the heart of my journey is a simple purpose here: to help people, support people feel seen, heard, supported, aligned, so they can shine even in the dark. That's the reason we're talking about the disco ball all the time. So
Oh, and purple is one of my favorite colors.
that's good. Actually, purple was not in my in my list of colors at all. But somehow I found myself surrounded by purple, linked to activities, hobbies, and yeah, it's a strange color that nobody wants, or maybe they know how to link to other colors, let's say. But the purple blends the vibrancy of, I don't know, red and the calmness of blue, and somehow this two, it creates something dynamic that I really see as creativity. That's my color in the end. So that's the reason I'm going with the purple spill.
Right. And so, for people who don't know it, what exactly is energy leadership? How does it differ from more traditional leadership models?
This is a very good question, and it's a, let's say, the pillar of this conversation. Energy leadership is a way of leading your life by understanding, managing, and directing your personal energy with intention. So when we talk about traditional leadership models, usually they focus on skills, behaviors, external strategies, while the energy leadership goes deeper. So it's a sort of an inside out coaching process. First, we talk about your thoughts, emotions, and actions. So the traditional leadership tells you how you lead others. The energy leadership teaches you how to lead yourself. So you naturally lead your others, right, with more clarity, but everything starts with you. And that's the foundation of the purpose spiel, right? Philosophy. When you understand your energy, you can orient yourself, connect deeply, communicate honestly, and create from, let's say, your authentic path. So that's a little bit of difference. Is I don't know if you can also. I know you work with energy also, and that's part of what you do as well. And so, how would you, let's say, connect this with the energy leadership at this point from your
Yeah,
vision?
so for me, energy, it's from Chinese medicine. It's a qi, QE, vital energy. And it's the energy that goes through our body, and that when it's blocked, that's when we have illnesses or stress or some ailments. And there's also this concept of yin and yang and 5 elements inside the Chinese medicine. So I'm curious, yes, how do you define energy in your case?
Mm. Yeah, no, that's very interesting. When we talk about energy leadership, and I always talk about self leadership. So you self lead yourself. We are our own leaders. This is a very basic way of thinking. It could be also a cliche of saying this, but when in coaching, when we talk about leadership, it's not confined between the 4 walls of a corporation, of a job, or of a role, but it's actually who we are as human beings, authentic beings. And so we need to understand ourselves first before understanding others. That's very simple. And so how energy leadership is different from, technique of leadership. First of all, is it's rooted in self-awareness. So instead of teaching how to act like a leader, it really helps understand your energetic state, your energetic state, the lens you use to interpret situations, so you can shift from reacting to responding consciously. And it applies to every area of life. Like we said, we're not just talking about executives and corporation. We're talking about, human beings navigating their relationship, their work, their creativity, or personal growth. And then again, it really focuses on your internal energy levels. So energy leadership is about exploring the spectrum of energies: catabolic, anabolic energies, so draining energy, expansive energies. And so when you understand how you're operating, you can really shift towards more constructive, empowered states, right? And yeah, it's practical and experiential, and not just behavioral. So through coaching, reflection, real-time awareness practices, you start to notice your triggers, adjust your energy, and lead with more intention and authenticity. In the end.
So, how does our energy, or like the way we show up, influence our creativity, our performance, and our ability to lead in both in music or in business?
Yeah, so let's go back for a second to explain better so when I say I rely on my coaching practice, I rely on the energy leadership framework. Is developed by Bruce Schneider from IPEC, in which I'm certified and specialized. I like it because it's real. It gives us a framework for understanding how we show up in life and work, and how we shift our energy to be more effective and more present, right? So it helps people become more aware of my makeup of energy, let's say, on my energy levels, and learning how to manage them consciously, really, and maintain my mental, emotional, physical health. So energy leadership is about understanding that energy is everything. It's not just about what we do, but how we do it. And so for artists and professionals in the music industry, in this case, burnout, emotional detachment, lack of motivation are really common challenges. And so these challenges can create a ripple effect, diminishing creativity, productivity, performance, and it's really easy to fall in the cycle of self-doubt. So when we constantly, let's say, push ourselves without managing our energy first and understanding who we are first, we risk draining our inner resources, right? And really sabotaging long-term potential. So the question is, how does our energy, so the way we show up, influence our creativity, our performance, and our ability to lead in both music and business? And so it's very important because let's think about energy like our phone battery, right? So if it's always running on low, you cannot perform at your best. So just like you wouldn't expect your phone to functioning without being charged, right? So you cannot expect to perform at your highest level without managing your energy, your internal energy. And so the example is, we have on our phones, we have all the apps, right? And it's about learning which app it consumes more energy. So which app I'm going to close it right now, because then it drains the battery. And so that's the reason we discover through the energy leadership process, we have seven energy level of energies, ranging from the limiting one, so the catabolic one, which is like stress and apathy, to the more expansive one, anabolic states. So it's more confidence, inspiration, resilience. And the key is really shifting your mindset and energy from the place of self-doubt and victim mode to want more empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, why do you believe that mental well-being and emotional awareness are essential to long-term sustainability, especially in high-pressure creative fields like electronic music?
So this is the topic that I'm really that I really care about. Sustainability is about people, and true responsibility to human beings is what builds lasting success. Um, Also, in fast-paced industries, the most renewable resources, let's say, we have is energy. So the mental, emotional, creative energy of the people driving the work. So when the energy is ignored, burnout becomes inevitable, and burnout costs far more than any other loss. And so creativity fades, productivity drops, talents outlive the company, and the culture of the company erodes. So investing on in the mental and emotional well-being of individuals is therefore not a luxury. I would say it's a strategic necessity. And so that's the reason sustainability means creating environments where people can thrive, when they feel grounded, inspired. And so artists, managers, teams feel emotionally resilient. Their creativity and innovation naturally expand. So the question companies should be asking is not only how can we grow, but how much are we investing in the energy of our people? That's where energy leadership comes in. It really helps individuals become more conscious leaders, let's say. And so by learning to manage energy and shift mindset, people begin to show up more fully and lead more authentically. And so it's about moving from doing more to being more, and being more aligned, right? Your core values, leading from a place to awareness rather than reaction. So corporate coaching, for example, is really emerging as a key tool for human sustainability. And we have a lot of research. You can Google it, of course. We have that shows how companies are using coaching, reports a positive return of investment, for example. So it uses for, let's say, support the emotional well-being. And so yes, coaching creates space for reflection, of course, and emotional regulation and sustainable growth, helping individuals really take intentional actions. And so that's the reason I said at the beginning, this is a very important topic here, because we're talking about sustainability is not just environmental, it's human, and human energy is what makes everything else possible in the end, right? Yeah.
What comes to my mind is so you have experience across different sectors, right? Is that correct? Not only the music industry, but also other uh,
Yes, right. Other
industries.
industries.
What stage is the electronic music industry or the music industry in compared to other sectors? Are we advanced? Are we like average or are we behind?
Well, probably this question can be answered by people that work in the music industry, being working there for so many years. I could approach managers and tour managers and booking agents that have been working in the industry for so many years, and I would tell you something. They're very surprised that this topic, and especially the mental well-being, is not yet fully present within the industry. So I wouldn't say I don't have, let's say, I don't have the capabilities today to tell you exactly what kind of percentage are we talking about or results. But we had through AFAM last year also a very important survey that was circulating between people in the industry that really showed exactly what were the topics that the music industry is still a little bit behind and recognized as important. So the work-life balance, for example, um, and which can create burnout. It can cause burnout and goes into the yes mental well-being emergency that we need to have in the industry more, right? So probably that's what I see. But compared to other industry, well, of course, I'm coming from fashion, I'm coming from logistics, I'm coming from let's say travel and hospitality industries, and I would say, generally speaking, from my experience, of course, that I don't see a lot going on when we talk about corporate coaching, for example, or let's sustain our employees more in that sense.
In the music industry, you mean?
I was generally talking about corporation generally based on my experience, but in the music industry, like I said, it's something that we probably need to push more, let's say, as of now, as of today. We can see through panels, through conferences, through the festivals, to all the summits that we go, we can see that this topic is becoming more, let's say, available, and resources are there to support what the backstage of the industry and artists, of course. But at the same time, we need more awareness for this topic, I would say, especially human capital and sustainability in the human part.
Right, correct. Like we've been talking about it in the past years. At ADE, for example, I was part of an event called For Love and Health of House that has been going on for 4 years now, and we talk about mental health and balance in the industry and addictions, and as much as we're talking about it, we need more action and more programs. And that's where later on I'd like to open the floor for that conversation to be like, okay, how can we get all the actors at all the levels in the industry involved and make them health aware and actively taking a stance on that topic.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something that we discussed so many times, Izzy and I, you guys, I mean, we discuss it, and it's something that we care about, because that's what we do in our life as coaches, but at the same time, as human beings as well. It's important to be there and support, the industry, and support what's behind the industry, because in the end, we're all human beings, as like we always say. But I agree with you, Az, in having more out there. Let's say more awareness, more than everything else, right?
Yes, like to put back the focus on the human side
Right,
and
exactly.
and people's health and well-being. So let me see. To to jump on this, what does it take to build authentic environments, whether in teams, collectives, and or companies, where people can thrive instead of just surviving?
That's an interesting question. Um, yeah, so creative, authentic environments, whether in teams, collectives, companies, is not just is not just a nice to have. It's really essential for long-term sustainability at this point. And like we said, sustainability is about people. So you cannot run a marathon if you're burning out every few miles. In the same way, organization cannot achieve long-term success if their people are constantly running on empty, right? So the key lies in energy. So how people show up, the way they show up determines how sustainable their career and their companies are. So when individuals operate from a place of ground that is grounded, positive energy, they're more creative, resilient, more adaptable. But when the stress, the fear, exhaustion dominate, every action becomes draining, and thriving becomes impossible, let's say. So investing in people's energy goes beyond offering a wellness program or a few perks. It's really about embedding mental and emotional well-being as a pillar of organizational culture. And companies often focus on productivity, sales, green initiatives, which is fine, but neglect the human element. So burnout is costly. Lost, we discussed so many times this, like lost creativity, lost talent, lost time, and lost engagement. So supporting people well-being is not just compassionate, it's really strategic as well. And at the core of authentic environments is really self-awareness and self-care in the end. So practice in an inside away, sorry, in an holistic inside out way. This is not about pampering or temporary fixes. It's just about knowing yourself, being kind to yourself, and building resilience to really navigate high pressure environments. And there is an amazing psychotherapist, Nancy Collier. She wrote so many books, and she really emphasized the self care. So befriend your mind, trust your experience, accepting imperfections, and start for yourself as a human part. And so that's the reason organization and industries, they really should cultivate these principles create space where people feel seen, supported, empowered as well. Because in the end, industries are run by people still, maybe a robot in the future, but we still have people in the industry. So, in short, building authentic environments requires investing in human energy, promoting self awareness, embedding mental and emotional well being into the very DNA of an industry. Because when people thrive, so do teams and company, and yeah, the ecosystem, the broader creative ecosystem in the end.
Yes. So
Mm.
I'd like to ask you a question about like in the electronic music industry, there's like a lot going towards the artist, but sometimes we tend to forget about all the teams behind. So
Yeah,
what do you suggest that programs can be offered to managers, for example? What's your vision?
I think one of the most interesting aspect that I had the first time I went to ADE, it was just browsing around, like networking and talk to people and see where they stand in understanding what mental well-being was and coaching and support. And so I was very surprised to see the interest that people in the backstage had. So, for example, again, tour managers, booking agents, promoters. I mean, people in the backstage are those people. I'm not talking about the artists, right? So these people were more keen to understand more what this kind of coaching could help them with their job, but especially with their work-life balance. And so I was very surprised to see this. And coming from corporate, I would be more keen to, and I'm talking to different people that are in the backstage more than artists nowadays. It's probably because what artists want right now, it's probably different from what people in the backstage they want in terms of mental well-being. So the artist wants to have a quick tip to how to cope after a gig, right? And before the gig, more into the wellness part, so probably your part. And then people in the backstage, they want to have more strategic, self leadership tips to understand how they cope with all the management part. So probably that. But yeah, both sides. Coaching is really helpful for helping and supporting both categories in the music industry, I would say.
Great. Let's get practical here. Could you share a simple but powerful practice for artists or creative professionals so they can boost or realign their energy in their daily life or a high stress situation?
Yeah, so we didn't go through the seven level of energies, but I think after this chat, people interested, they can send me a DM or talk to you, and they can connect with me, because this is a very important part. Of course, understanding all the levels. There is an amazing assessment, ELI, Energy Leadership Index, that usually you do by yourself, and then you have it debrief with a coach certified in energy leadership. But so what I can suggest is a sort of energy check-in, right? So it usually takes like 60 seconds, less than a minute, and really helps you realign your internal battery anytime, anywhere, especially in the high stress moments. So think of it as your internal sound check, right? Before you perform or create or make a decision or something. So it says like the first thing you do is pause. So it's a sort of take a breath, right? Put a small break between you and the moment. So connect completely with yourself. And that's very simple. The second one is ask yourself, so start communicate with yourself. What energy am I operating from right now? So do I feel stressed? Do I feel frustration, pressure, self-doubt? The third part is name it, right? Name the energy immediately. So it really gives a name to something, right? It really reduces the intensity because you recognize something. And so if you know the 7 levels, you're going to say, I'm level 1, I'm level 2, I'm level 3, right? I'm grounded, I'm frustrated. And then you start shifting. So you start shifting this state. And so you start the creation part. So what energy would serve me better in the next 5 minutes, right? So, and you start understanding how to move forward. So moving to the action, that it can be a small little thing like a boundary, a micro break, reframe your thought, a breath, anything like that. So this way you really recenter yourself somehow. And why this works, it really helps to see again the connection that you have with yourself. Stop for a second, you give yourself 60 seconds, so it's nothing, right? So so sort of a recentering. So connect with yourself, communicate, and create something. So that's the purpose bill. And then this practice helps you stop running the apps, like we talked before. Energy, all the phone, you have all the apps open, right? And the thoughts, the stories, the fears, the emotion, everything that you have in the background, it stops for a second. So it interrupts the autopilot spiral and really redirects your focus towards an energy level that really actually supports your creativity and performance, right? So let's say instead of reacting, you respond. Instead of spiraling around, you self-lead yourself. And instead of burnout, you create space. So it's a simple recheck.
Okay.
You enjoy it. Did you like it?
Yeah, definitely. Like when you say you take a breath, or you have like a special type of breath work in mind?
No, that's the reason I'm calling easy, because you're probably better in the breathing exercises. Yes,
Yeah, I know a few exercises like the box briefing, or then I also have the qigong practice,
right.
uh, helping you get grounded in a matter of 2 minutes. All right, so last question. If someone leaves today wanting to lead with more energy and authenticity, what's one first step you would recommend they take?
Um, like we probably reconnect. Okay, so start by reconnecting with your inner compass, your why. So if you want to lead with some with more energy, authenticity, the first step is really to pause and ask yourself, where is my energy really coming from? And what is driving me right now? So the example could be, am I playing the same loop, and my tracks are on the same loop, or do I have a playlist that really gives me more inspiration in music, like it's more inspiring music? So understanding where you are, what state are you in? So most people live in autopilot, like we said, pulled by expectations, pressures, habits, or old narratives that really no longer serve them, right? So when you stop and get honest about why you're doing what you're doing, you begin to shift from performing to leading, because you're deciding how you want to lead, you know, a certain way action that you have. Um, so again, like we said, it's more like asking yourself, what do I want to feel more in my life and work? What energy do I want to bring into my next interaction, project, decision? What feels aligned with who am I right now, right? Not what I'm expected to be. Who am I? So naming your intentions is really powerful, because intention shapes energy. So, and energy shapes everything else, your actions, your communication, and everything, right? So when you lead with intention, you start really making choices from your core values, and rather than stress and habits. And you naturally become more authentic in the end. So more grounded and more in control of your inner world, let's say.
Great. Well, thank you, Leda. Is there anything you want to share more?
Um, Maybe I'm gonna share with you guys, because again, we mentioned the 7 level of energies, and it's a big topic, and there's so many things to discover around this topic. But I wanted to give a simple way of remember these energies, And again, connect with me if you want to know more about it and more about the index and the assessment. But I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna make you remember the energy levels in terms of feeling, so it's easy to understand. Level one energy is the most catabolic energy, so emotional draining, and it's gonna go like, I hate myself. I don't have power. I'm apathy mode. Level two energy is I hate you, so in the fighting mode. Level three is I forgive you, is acceptance somehow. Level four is I feel for you, so it's more service for other people. Level five is I understand you, collaboration. Level six is I am you, and level seven I am. So it's a little bit of it's simple, but it gives you probably a lot of question around those levels. But it's just for you to understand how we start from catabolic to anabolic, and think about energy as a building, right? So the building ground floor is level one. When you open the window, you see probably another building. So everything is limited. So the vision is limited. But if you, as you go to the top floor on the rooftop, you see an amazing view, 360 probably, if you're lucky, you have a great rooftop. And so that's where you have a more unlimited vision. And so that's when we talk about levels. So starting from bottom up. And so that's where our vision is, depending on where we want to shift our energy levels, and what serves us better. We decided to, where do we want to move. So I just wanted to share this if it's useful. But again, I'm here if you want to just discuss about it and go through it. And I really hope it's useful for everything in life, generally speaking.
Hmm. Well, thank you very much, Leda. That was very interesting. And I'm gonna stop the recording and open the floor for questions and sharing.
Thank you, Izzy.